Hi, I'm Robert Braunfeld.
And I'm Billy Hess.
We are
Celebrity Photographers.
Don't Go Anywhere.
Because Profiles is coming right up.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Mickey Burns. Today's guests are celebrity photographers Billy Hess and Robert Braunfeld, who for the past 30 years have been capturing iconic images of celebrities, concerts, and events in New York City. Combined, their body of work in part shapes our collective memory of how history is remembered. After a short break, I'll be back to welcome photographers Billy Hess and Robert Braunfeld to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. I'm Mickey Burns. Celebrity photographers Billy Hess and Robert Braunfeld are both natives of New York City, and both have created a 30-year body of work. So join me now as I welcome celebrity photographers Billy Hess and Robert Braunfeld to Profiles. Billy Hess, Robert Braunfeld, welcome to our show Profiles. Pleasure meeting you both.
Likewise.
Thank you.
And of course, for our viewers, you are both, I'm going to call you celebrity photographers, capturing iconic images of celebrities and events in New York City for the past 30 years. Wow, long time. I almost introduced you as paparazzi photographers, but I know that's a term that both of you dislike.
Paparazzi, I don't want to be associated with paparazzis. I think it's anybody that goes around trying to take a picture and sell it for money when someone's looking bad, and following people around in their personal life.
Yeah.
And like LA, it's pretty bad in LA, but in New York.
But that's not really what you do. And of course, you don't like it either, Robert?
Paparazzi I don't like because I've shot many celebrities, and sometimes I have other people around, such as their family and whatnot.
That's true.
And the thing is, the family's not famous, it's them. And I have, I like to think I have integrity. I'd rather be invited to the house than chased away, and I agree with Billy on that.
Well said, well said.
Well, it's important too that, in our business, the celebrities got to trust us, or else I will not be going to an after party in New York City. I will not be hanging out with certain people if they're not trusted.
So there's trust involved.
Big trust.
Who are some of the celebrities that you've shot over your 30-year careers? Billy, start with Billy.
Whew,
a quick list.
Boy George, B-52s, Adam Ant. I was thinking of that yesterday, writing a list because somebody asked me for a bio, and I'm like, you forget after a while.
How about you, Robert? How are some of that come at the tip of your tongue?
James Brown. I also shot Adam Ant, Sheryl Crow. Many. And
you've done a ton.
And even it's not just music. It's also I've been in a lot of different events. I've shot presidents. Hugh Jackman, celebrities.
Sure.
Some of them know your name. Some of them don't. But
but you keep going.
Yep.
Now you're both native New Yorkers, correct?
Yes.
And my question is, what inspired each of you to become photographers in the first place? Rob?
I've taken photos as a hobby, and some people that I knew just basically said, you take such nice photos, you should do some with it. And they also had connections where I ended up doing a lot of events, and hence it keeps going on. And it's a learning, it's constantly you're learning because there's always new equipment coming out, and expensive too. So these people that want my photos, I'd like them to pay because I can still do my craft.
It's a business.
Yeah.
How about you, Bill? What inspired you originally to become a celebrity photographer, let's say?
I'd say photographer first was my father. In World War II, he brought home a German bellow camera.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you my age now. But he brought that home, and he always took pictures, and we lived in poor projects and stuff. So he gave me my first camera, kept us out of trouble. So around our neighborhood, instead of getting in trouble, we used to take pictures. We used to make I'm a big horror fanatic, so he also gave me a movie camera. And we would go around and take pictures of like horror movies. And one time we we broke down a wall, pushed it on. It looked like we pushed it on a friend of mine, and you know, with special effects.
Yeah.
And then I ran up to my house. My mother was cooking chicken. Took the skin off the chicken. Got ketchup. Put it on my friend laying there, and the cat was eating the skin off the turkey. And the neighbors thought I was nuts. I don't know why.
But it inspired you to do
It inspired me to do it.
Follow
I mean,
your
it inspired me to
passion.
shoot pictures, but not celebrities at that point.
Now, most photographers are always looking for that perfect shot, right? When you're at a concert or an event, how many photos do you sometimes take or have to take in order to get that perfect shot?
Well, I take multiples. I don't like give a count. It's just, you know, people blink. There's distractions. There's other people with cameras. I mean,
Yes.
even when you've done weddings, you have other people now that have their cell phones. It's a distraction, and it's you got to overcome, you know, all those other distractions so you can get that shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like I say, you know, to people, when you look at my photos, you look
Yeah.
at the world through my eyes.
Right, that's a good way to look at it. And Billy, you know, when you're at a concert, how many photos might you take during the course of the event?
Well, normally you have 3 songs that get it all done. And
Really?
Yes, you only have 3 songs. And you have to know the lighting and stuff. And sometimes you can get there earlier and see the band that warms them up to see the lighting. But I used to sing when I was younger, so the passion of singing and being an entertainer and really helped me put the 2 passions together. So when I take a picture of an artist, that's why I guess my whole direction now is going to concert photography, because you know, I look when I'm looking, I'm not trying to snap a picture.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it, but I have seconds, so I could see your look and know within seconds, wow, that's a good look for you. And pop, I gotta hit it, and hopefully I get it. You know, with the lighting, because it's changing. Nothing's on automatic. Everything's manual. So you have, and the adrenaline for that is amazing. Like, and I do that anywhere, whether I'm sitting in a studio, whether I'm doing an event. I always shoot my photos so you could feel it instead of just looking at it. I want you to feel the photo.
Do you always come away with stuff that you're happy with, or do sometimes you get, after it's over, you say, I'm not happy. There's not one photo that I'm blown away with?
Normally, I'm my worst critic.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking, when I'm going through the viewfinder and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, aren't they all right? Maybe I can get 1 or 2. Then I wound up with 20 keepers, you know? When I call the money shots, it's like if you're a professional photographer, you shoot 70 pictures. What is it? 2, if you were shooting for a magazine, are going to be keepers.
Yeah.
So that's my mentality.
Sure.
So, and I guess that being my worst critic, it keeps me not getting lazy.
Sure. You got to be on your toes.
I have to have that adrenaline going, or else, you know, I don't want to make a mistake by being lazy.
Yeah, I feel the same way, you know, it's like you're your own worst critic. But like you asked about taking shots, like when I shot James Brown at the Apollo,
Yeah.
I know that he extends his micro. He has a mentality. So you kind of, sometimes you know the person and mannerisms.
You wait for a certain
so
spot.
you can project something ahead of time. So,
Right.
but with that, sometimes you wait for that one shot where he does that because you anticipate it, and then you can capture it knowing it's coming, and sometimes you know what song.
Another good point. Now, Robert, you've been taking photos on the set of Profiles, this show, for the past 20 years almost, right?
Yeah.
One day during the pandemic, I asked you, I don't know if you remember this, how many photos have you taken over 20 years? And you said to me, I have no idea, but let me go home and check the computer, and I'll get back to you. And you did call me that night, and you said, I have a total. I've taken 14,562 photos.
Give or take.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's quite a body of work. Who are some of your favorite celebrities that you photographed and loved the shots you took of them on Profiles?
Well, I like the time you did Sheila E. because afterwards we went out and you got doused with the ice bucket challenge, and Sheila E. was more than happy to oblige.
It's a good thing it was in June,
Oh yeah,
but you took some great shots.
I mean it was a good cause
Sheila
too.
E., she was holding the bucket on me. Any others come to mind?
I'm trying to think. See,
Yeah.
just like there's so many celebs that I've done for you over the years,
Yes, right.
and each one has their own little nuance and stuff.
yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, I get to learn a lot. You see people like Johnny Rivers, Don McLean,
Yeah.
I mean, Judy Collins, Sam Moore. I mean, these are people in my own mind think, I'll probably never meet these guys in
Yeah.
my own time and stuff, but at least I can take photos of them, and I get to hear like backstories that I don't
Right.
normally hear. So
Yeah. I did want to mention that many of your photos, Robert, are featured in a coffee table book, and it's called Inside Celebrity Profiles: A Visual Journey. And Billy, I know you're currently working on your book that chronicles your body of work. What can you tell us about the status of that book?
Well, it's being written right now. And the process, it's called Full Access, and it's basically how to get backstage, how to get in those photo pits to actually get to shoot these celebrities. So it's a more of a how-to, and how to act as a photographer in
So
those
it's a little
pits.
different.
Yes, but with my body of work in it, but also a learning experience of how to act on
So
a
other
runway,
photographers,
red
you
carpet.
can then educate them as
Hopefully
to what,
the young ones, so they don't
what
grow
the
up to
business
be.
is like. Yeah.
keep in mind, you and I both, we started with film, and then everything
Well, we're gonna
graduated
talk
to
about
digital.
that as well. Now, I've been to many celebrity events, obviously, especially with Robert over the years, and observed both of you working and doing what you do. And we both know celebrities can be sensitive at times, right? As
times?
As photographers, what approach or philosophy do you practice to make it work best for all involved?
You have to read the celebrity right away.
You do.
Yes, I read him right away, or I'm told. Like when I did Boy George,
Yeah.
by accident, by the way, because I was
Yeah.
shooting the B-52s, and his photographer didn't show up.
Right, right.
So I got they introduced me to his manager, PK, and I don't know anybody in the business. I'm like Devil Wears Prada. If I'm in a room, and except for Liza Minnelli, if she came to me, I would say, what was that? I need someone to tell me that's so-and-so, so-and-so. Because I'm not starstruck or anything like that. So he goes, do you know who PK is, don't you? I said, no. Well, he's the husband of one of the housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, you're the photographer, I need this, and Boy George, you got to do this, you got to do that, you get that, but don't do this. You get the list of everything you got to do.
And you learn quickly before
I know
you
what he
s-
wants, and then
you
when
know
I go
what he
out
doesn't
there,
like.
when I'm shooting, I have to add that to what I have to do.
But that's a good approach. How about you, Rob? Do you have a specific approach that you take to make everyone comfortable?
I agree with what Bill says. You got to kind of read the person, and again, you don't know everybody because there's some people out there. They're there to be seen. They want to be seen.
Yeah.
And some of these contemporary artists, I don't know, and I'm asking, who's that? Who's that? For instance, I was just looking at some old photos that I shot for Paul Rosenberg for Shady Records, his birthday.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through people, I'm like, these people look so familiar, and I don't know. And I'm looking up. It ends up being, was it Kellyanne Conway and her husband?
Okay.
And back then, I didn't even know who they were.
Right.
And
right.
now, the whole perspective changes when you look back at that.
Sure. And I've been to many events where the photographers are very aggressive, and not everyone is happy with that.
Like the paparazzi.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of.
But even, in your celebrity setting, so some
they don't like it either.
some
Stepper
celebrities do
repeats.
not want to be photographed. I've known some that don't.
Yeah.
And they're friends of mine. So like you have to be really careful. You have to really read the room. You have to
Yeah,
read
and I
it.
think part of your success has been not with aggression, but
Correct.
with personality and courtesy.
Oh, without a doubt.
100%.
Okay, and it's working.
Yes,
And
it
it has been for 30 years. Let's talk about some of your favorite photos over the years. I know it's not easy because it's a 30-year body of work, but let's start with you, Billy. What would be among what you would consider to be among some of your favorite photos that you've captured?
On the big stadium side, it would be Boy George. It would be the Struts from New England.
Yep.
Adamant was fun.
Yeah, well, he's very animated,
yes.
so he's an easy target.
But I have to say the best one was Liza Minnelli.
Really?
And she was playing in Fire Island, so I got to photograph her and Alan Cumming doing the benefit.
Oh, and he's a big star in his own right, sure.
Right. And they didn't put it out that she was coming because it would be packed. But make a long story short, she was only supposed to stay there for one day.
Oh.
She had so much fun that we just stuck her in the freezer and gave her martinis, and she stayed for 2 days. And that's a true story.
And Robert, I want to talk about some of your favorites. I know you. I saw you. I love your Tina Turner one, but you could tell me all about some of them. And keep in mind, as you mentioned, some of these early photos in concert were shot on film,
Yep.
not digital like we have today.
Yeah, I mean, you're like Billy says, you know, when you do a concert, they only allow you like first 3 songs. If you can get away with it and not piss off anybody and get caught, you can probably shoot even longer after
Right,
that
right,
if you have carte blanche. But like, I've shot Tina Turner, one of my favorite shots of hers. David Bowie was like probably the first one, because I used to also sneak in cameras when I was, before I even was being hired and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, David Bowie was like the first one I was kind of taking photos. But then when I shot like Prince, for instance, I actually shot that with a cast and a broken leg. And there's a shot that he has his androgynous guitar. And doing that with the broken leg was like, wow.
Yeah, I also like the shot that you took of Axl Rose.
Oh, Guns N' Roses, wow, yeah. They would show up late for a show, and I always thought there was going to be another riot, because he was notorious for that. But yeah, no, they
Did you take that that shot of Axl on stage with? I think he had a
flag?
a flag wrapped around him, with film or digital.
Oh, that was filmed too.
That was filmed too.
Yeah.
Now today, everyone thinks they're a photographer, right? With the advancement of the iPhones.
Oh yeah.
Photographers, filmmakers, and they can be if they choose to do so. How has this advancement affected what you do as a business?
Wow, that's a good question.
Really good.
Most of the places where I shoot, you're not going to be allowed inside with a camera
Detachable
phone
lens.
or with a phone in a pit or backstage, something like that. But there are people with connections to get in anywhere, right?
Yes.
You know, and they're taking pictures, and that's the one that's usually putting the phone in front of your lens. It doesn't know etiquette in a photo booth.
Right, right.
Other than that, it really doesn't affect our business, you know, because the resolution, what we need to do, it's still can't compare to what we can. It's a different league.
It's convenient for people to have.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
readily available, them and their selfie stick. Even I use it from time to time if I don't have my regular camera, but there's nothing like having an SLR, because the quality is so far superior.
Right, I agree.
And
Now,
I shot with camera too. I mean, with a phone, we've done that, depending on the situation we're in, you know.
Oh, exactly. I mean, but it's some people, when they say, oh, it's acceptable, and as an artist, sometimes, you know, you can let it go, but it's really, sometimes as the artist, it's not, you know.
I mean, you can't make a depth of field, you can't blur out the background, you know, it is what it is.
It is
I mean, there are advances to the phone, which is amazing how far it's come, though.
Yep. Now, as photographers, as I've mentioned, you photograph celebrities, concerts, major events, which often shape our collective memory of how history will be written and, in many cases, remembered, right? In a way, some of your photos become immortal. When you're working, do you ever think of the historical impact of the photos that you're trying to capture?
It's funny you ask that question, because recently I met a person
Yeah.
that has Jimi Hendrix photographs. He was his photographer.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, in his later days, and he wants to do a coffee book. But
Yeah.
the family owns the rights to everything, his face, his image, everything.
That's
and they
important.
refuse to let him do that. And he's not really looking for the money.
No.
But he has all these beautiful photographs.
Of Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Yeah.
That stuff, that would be amazing. And his family would not allow him
The
to use it.
historical significance of what he has.
Which is a thing, I'm sorry, to never give up your rights of your photographs, correct?
Correct.
That's the problem we're having. For people nowadays,
Just like music.
they'll go
Right.
out there
Okay.
and they'll give their rights just to be able to shoot somebody.
Sure. Okay.
An example, I heard that Beyonce once in Madison Square Gardens, her contract was everybody had to give their rights up. So Rolling Stones decided not to come there one day. So now you're getting people taking the pictures who just want to shoot Beyonce and see a concert,
Yeah.
where they're amateurs or semi-professional. But
Right.
the
She's
top
not gonna be
liners
putting the
didn't
best
go.
light.
Because you want to keep these, of course we're not going to put them on shirts. We're not going to put them right on bottles.
Trying to
but
protect their image.
But we want to be able to put them on a book or show off the work that we've done as a photographer. Because it's art.
Now you both also do portraits, headshots, etc. as photographers. As a photographer, what's the key to bringing out the best in your subjects?
First of all, sometimes you have to read the person, and a lot of times they know what they want, but that doesn't mean it's good for them.
True.
Right? So, but you give them what they want, you let them do it. Because I recently had a headshot that, and she wanted A, B, C, D, but at the end, we gave her A, B, C, D, but then we gave her extra. And she goes, wow, this is beautiful. When they give you the chance, but you have to deliver. And if you deliver it, and you know, they're like, wow. Sometimes they don't like to take that step, right? Or branch.
You got to earn their trust, but some people like to dictate how they want things.
But you
to
do
be.
give it to them. But but like I was telling you before, I always like to get that extra.
Indulge me.
Yep, that's great. Now, what's the best piece of advice both of you can share with young, aspiring photographers who would love to carve out careers like you two have for yourself?
Learn your craft. Okay, which means start from the bottom, whether if it's music or anything, no matter where, small bands, local bands, if you want to get into music, portraits, your uncle, your aunt, keep shooting, and develop a portfolio. And you start from this one. If the picture is really good, somebody's going to say, wow. All right?
Yeah.
That, and the second is networking, go everywhere and meet people. And if you're a person that's likable and you enjoy people and you make friends along the way, it takes only one friend to open up a door for other friends and acquaintances.
True that.
And I've learned, and I've learned is because a lot of the celebrities that I shoot, I become friends with. You know, because it's almost like they trust you, you have a few laughs. Reputation is important.
Sure.
So network.
Anything to add to that, Robert?
I say take photos. I don't care if it's a cell phone, whatever. I get people come to me, they say, what's the best camera to use? You know what? It's a common question. What do you want to take photos of? How much do you want to spend? You know, it's not always what the best camera is because people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, take a whole bunch of shots. You can get 5 people standing in the same spot taking a picture of the same subject matter, and all those pictures will be different.
Wow, wow.
And don't put it on automatic.
Yeah. I actually had someone say to me one time about the camera. He says, "Oh, I had it on, you know, on what's it, automatic." I go, "Well, that's aperture on the camera, SLR, not automatic." Learn the craft.
If you were in a position where you were told you can only keep one shot that you've taken over 30 years, only one, which one would that be, Bill?
That's a tough question.
My son with Fran Drescher.
There you go. There you go. How about you, Rob? Is there one shot that stands above the rest?
You know, it would have to be, believe it or not, a shot I took in Amsterdam at the gardens, at Keukenhof Gardens, and it's flowers, what I call like Flower Road, because there were so many different flowers, and the way it just was at that, you know, where people say that looks like a painting. And I actually have a friend of mine, Gary Springer, who actually, I grew up with him, but he takes a bunch of my photos that he's seen and he makes paintings out of them and sells them.
Wow.
So I'm kind of flattered.
So the flowers upstage all the celebrities that you took.
Well, you know, well, if you want to celebrity-wise, you know, I took a shot at Kiss, which I called the money shot. It's only the 3 of them where the tongue of Gene Simmons hanging out. You got the other 2 guitar players strumming away.
And
I go, and as soon as I saw it, I said, that's the money shot.
You got the money shot.
The tongue was out.
What celebrity would be your money shot?
I just want to go back to my son picture one second.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a special needs son.
Yes.
And ever since he was a baby, he listened Nanny and Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
He loves 24/7, 100 times a day.
Got it.
Aww.
And when we got a chance for him to meet her, I told the story to Fran Drescher.
She's a sweet
Right.
girl.
And she says, bring him on me. And we went to this event, and then he sneaks out the back. We go outside, and he speaks for 10 minutes. And the crying on his eyes, very emotional.
Great.
That's my favorite.
I understand it. I want to say one more time, Billy Hess, Robert, thank you so much for stopping by Profiles today. Celebrity photographers that have been capturing iconic photographs for the last 30 years. I want to wish you both continued success.
Thank you so much, and I'm honored to be here.
Thanks, Mickey.
It's been my honor. Thank you so much,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Robert Braunfeld has been taking behind-the-scenes photos on the set of Profiles for 20 years. When I asked him recently, how many photos have you taken over that span, his answer was 14,562 photos. Many of these photos are featured in the coffee table book, Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey. As for Billy Hess, he's currently working on his book that will chronicle his 30-year body of work. Well, that's about all the time we have left on this edition of Profiles. Until next time, I'm Mickey Burns. Thanks for tuning in.